So lately there's been quite a bit of an info drought in regards to No Man's Sky Beyond, well, outside of a number of interviews and a dev conference this past week, but I'm going to go over that in just a little bit. In any case, it's now past the middle of July and I'm slowly starting to fear that even my initial prediction for an August release might have been a tad too hopeful. I mean, Sean Murray has been really secretive so far and nobody knows exactly what to even expect anymore. I mean, I'm not even sure at this point when the update is even going to drop. A big update like Beyond typically doesn't get released without at least 1 month of prior announcements, which has not yet happened at all. But then again, I would also totally expect for Sean to do a flash release where one day he would drop a trailer on Twitter or whatever, and the very next day after that or the next week after that we would have the update at our doorsteps. Hopefully the latter is what's going to happen rather than the former, but in the meantime I've mentioned the word interview previously and that is exactly what I have for you guys for today. Sean Murray held an interview for PC Games where he talked in general terms about the game's development as well as the creative process that the team is currently engaged in. Again, there's going to be quite a bit of speculation throughout this video, so I hope you guys are ready and let's jump right in. Anyway, throughout the interview, Sean mentioned how important it is for him and his team to constantly improve every aspect of the game they can. They always bring these new and amazing big updates that we get to enjoy for months at an end, but according to him, they always end up with a ton of new ideas that they wish they had enough time to implement by the time these updates get released. There's always room for more to be added in a game like this, given its scope and scale, I will admit that. So much so in fact that this created a situation where even Sean admitted himself that he's probably never going to be happy with the state of the game, which is really funny if you think about it, considering how much the game has advanced in the past 3 years. It also helps that the game does a good job at keeping a lot of people playing for a very long time. He mentioned 25 hours on average when the game came out, which was a while ago, and the state of the game was very different back then, which went even higher once the next update dropped last year. So there's a lot of fan base engagement over here that definitely helps out with that, to drive that, to give that drive to improve the game, and also a lot of feedback, which according to Sean himself makes up to 70% of your average update patch notes, which is insane. I don't think there are that many games out there that do this. This brings us to a couple of features that are constantly being brought up by the fans and even throughout the interview, and these are of course also coincidentally the biggest features that most players engage with in No Man's Sky. Of course I'm talking about exploration, followed closely by base building. According to the interview, exploration and base building are the things people spend most time in when playing No Man's Sky. Directly quoting the article over here, you get this neat thing where people land on planets and what they're really hoping for is, has somebody been here before and has somebody built something? That's the thing we want to make more of in the next update and beyond, that feeling, and empower people a little bit more to be able to do that, end of quote. Now I might be reading a little bit too much into this, but this definitely sounds to me like the team is investing more into making exploration in this game better, and at the same time creating more situations where players can come across each other's creations, maybe interact in many more ways, maybe even go one step further and improve the joint exploration. So far, playing with another player or even a group of players in No Man's Sky has a solid foundation in my opinion. For example, me and Zane, another No Man's Sky YouTuber many of you probably already know, have managed to play together, do quests and complete objectives as a party, and even build stuff to help us survive, and it was definitely very fun. It was a really awesome experience that I don't think many other games, especially space games, have these days. The foundation for that is definitely solid and fun. What Beyond could do is even go one step further and improve upon it, make some things more convenient while also introducing new and exciting ways for players to always stay connected and play together. And if you look at some of the past statements, that is also what Sean Murray has said in the past. I mean, they want to bring players together way better than ever before. Now the next bit of speculation comes from another quote directly from Sean, and it's really hard not to speculate on these things when he comes in and throws in a statement like this out of the blue that you would normally not expect. So when asked about his relationship with the fan base, he mentioned how player feedback makes it into the actual patch notes and how much time they spend on stuff that, if you don't play the game yourself actively, it would be meaningless to you. And here's the direct quote from the article: "So they revamped the inventory system, what do I care? they revamped the inventory system. We started doing that because we wanted to communicate with the community, and that was our way of doing it. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but technically speaking, No Man's Sky never got an actual revamp for the inventory system so far, at least not to my knowledge. It did get reiterated over time and new functionalities were added, that is true, like for example split stacking, transferring items, higher capacity and such, but I don't think any of that actually qualifies as a true revamp, as it still looks and works pretty much the same as it did since day one. So this could very well be a hint towards a possible inventory system revamp for Beyond, which would definitely make sense given its re-release on the VR. There's definitely a need for a revamp just for the VR support, and previous VR gameplay did show a new inventory management system that I kinda liked, though it might only apply for that. I will admit I have my reservations about this one. I'm a bit skeptical just because he talks about it in past tense, and also he talks about it when speaking in the context of listening to player feedback and communicating with them through patch notes, so he might very well refer to something that they have already added in the game with some of the previous updates, which I think is most likely the case. Again, I really hope there's going to be a revamp for the inventory system. This is another one on the top list of things players have requested in No Man's Sky since day one, basically. Towards the end of the interview, when asked about the game's lifecycle and future updates, Sean mentioned that the team is creatively inspired at the moment, to directly quote the article. There were mentions of skin packs, probably hinting towards more customization options for our characters, at least that's what I'm taking from this, though he did give an assurance that that is not going to be the way this game goes out. So yes, the customization options, the skin packs, is not going to be the last thing added to No Man's Sky. For now, there's a team drive to continue adding to No Man's Sky, at least for the foreseeable future according to this interview and other statements he has made in the past, but at some point he didn't exclude the possibility to pursue other things that might become more exciting along the way. This might also mean that we're not going to get a No Man's Sky sequel anytime soon, and definitely not by the time the next generation of consoles drops by, which would have been really awesome. I mean, imagine how good a No Man's Sky 2.0 would be, knowing what they know already, knowing what Hello Games has gone through, and what the community and the fan base wants from a game like this. Through the interview, Sean expressed his sort of discontent in releasing the same kind of game every year, with only a few improvements and adjustments in between, of course citing his work that he has done as a developer for the Burnout series, where they would just add one big thing each year and then call it a new game. He even expressed it many times before that making sequels isn't as exciting to him as it is for others, for example, but creating new and weird wild games is where his head is at the moment, so definitely expect something else from Hello Games and Sean Murray. They also kind of teased a new game, a platformer game. I'm not really sure how I feel about this compared to No Man's Sky, for example. I mean, No Man's Sky definitely goes in the AAA territory, while a platformer kinda doesn't for me. I definitely enjoy RPGs and exploration, space games as well, rather than platformers. But again, it looks cool, the project looks very awesome, I'm not bashing it or anything, I just want more from No Man's Sky. Again, he didn't outright exclude the possibility for a sequel to this game, as this is definitely not a plan set in stone at the moment, but his mind right now is at something more wild than before, which could also mean that there might be a bigger project even compared to No Man's Sky at some point, and that platformer game that we saw is not even the biggest thing Hello Games is currently working on. I'm pretty sure that at some point there was a discussion about the team working and experimenting with some new games, not just that platformer, so I'm really curious what that is all about. Anyway, to end this video already, Beyond might not be the very last update No Man's Sky gets, but it might be the last one of this scale in terms of content and size, which kinda sucks, you know, I kinda got used to the game all these 3 years just waiting for the next update to drop by and just covering it, playing it. It was definitely a very good experience. For now, the team is definitely inspired to create some really awesome stuff for Beyond, and that's all that matters in the end. Having that good content to play and draw people in is what matters for the game, and knowing that Hello Games still has that drive and passion to do it definitely keeps my hopes high, which were already pretty high because I knew from the past experiences that all of the updates that they have implemented so far were really damn good. But that is all for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one, so peace out.